Yo, I'm back. You thought this was the end of the video? It's not. We got the extended version. Guys, I'm going to put this at the beginning of the video because I don't want anyone to click away at the end and I really don't want to re-record this. Guys, girls, it's very important. Keep this in mind. Go back to the beginning. Come back here and play this when you hit the end of this video. Play this again. This is very important. Once you get close enough to the enemy that you show up on their radar as the bright circle of red, right? You show up on the radar, right? Bungie doesn't let you stand behind people without them knowing. Did I do it in the Walking Dead video clip montage? Absolutely. Those guys, like, they were committed to the revives or they weren't looking at the radar. But at that point in time, I know for a fact that I am on the radar. I tested this. You will show up on the radar invisible if you were standing next to your enemy. It's a couple of feet. It may even be right before. You go from a pie piece of the radar and turn into that red dot in the center. So again, when you hit the end of the video, this is gonna make sense. Come listen to it again. You'll see what I'm talking about. I apologize for that, guys. Enjoy the video. I'll let you get to it. Yo, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video with your host, Kenkukun, and today we're going to cover the Walking Dead build. Now, this is a build that a couple of people have asked. They said, oh man, when you came out with the video, I thought you were going to break down the build. And I was like, nah, I don't want everyone running it. And then more people started asking, and I said, okay, I'm going to make a video out there because they came up with some good questions, and they need to be addressed. So first, let me walk you through my build. And then I'm going to do some comparison and analysis of some of the things people have asked. Hey, could I use this? Hey, could I use that? Do I need this? Do I need that? So first, we got my hunter. Now, the Walking Dead build, if you haven't seen it, I could pull it up real quick. Right here. We're just going to, boom. I'll play this small clip. Walking Dead. Here's an example, right? We're over here. This is Anomaly. I'm at the ramp. Throw a smoke on the wall, go invisible, and I walk around the map. Boom. Alright. First off, let me just say that Warlock didn't know I was there. The only way he knew I was there was if someone told him that I was there, because they seen me, or the dude was stream sniping. And I don't think that was the case for sure. So there are some times where it's going to look like people know where you're at, and sometimes they will. Other times, it's not that they know where you're at. It's just they turn at the right place at the right time, and you're there. And some of them, there's a lot of people in Destiny that just walk with their shotguns out, and that might be the end of you, because it's shotgun time. They just like, oh my god, a guy, boom, and you're dead. So, let me run you through the build. As you can see, my stats revolves around my strength. I have my strength at 100. So on my helmet, I have a strength mod. I have a strength mod. I have a strength mod on my boots, and I have a strength mod on my cloak. Now, I chose to go ahead and max out my strength stat because the more I can go invisible, the better off it's going to be. So before I, go into the questions, hey, should I do this, that, and blah, 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 I'm going to break down everything about my build. So we got Night Stalker, bottom tree. All right, so we got Vanish and Smoke. Throw a smoke bomber from a distance, making you and nearby allies invisible and providing the Heart of the Pack buff. Heart of the Pack buff grants weapon haste, increases mobility, that's very important right here, recovery, and resilience. That weapon haste is really good for reloading your NF. I use the NF. Season 10, I'm going to use it. Season 11, I'm going to use it. Season 27, I'm going to use it. I have a very good idea that Bungie is not going to nerf the NF ever again. And I'm going to use it till the end of Destiny 2 going into Destiny 3. That's what I did with the Mida when I got it. I loved it. I used it through every single nerf that came out. And I never put it down. Mida Sniper in D1.
5 minutes. Could go your way.
What?
Could go theirs.
Bro, that timer is not long enough. I'm going to launch the orbit. And I'm going to relaunch us. And you need to stop talking to me, Shax. So, I got 100 strength now. We come through the rest of this lockdown. Grenade effects last twice as long. That grenade is really good. That's like a 10-second grenade. I throw a grenade down for 10 seconds, and it plays into my invisibility. For 10 seconds, I'm invisible. So I can put a grenade on overtime in a 1v1, or I can put a grenade on heavy, or, on a body. And for 10 seconds, it's going to sit there. And I can move. I can go invisible and move around the map for 10 seconds. And I could take a whole new angle, and you'll never know where I'm coming from. Or maybe you will. So that plays very well into this build. Damaging enemies with grenades grants melee ability energy. Making allies invisible grants grenade energy. Okay, I didn't know about that part. So, wow, I didn't know about. Didn't even know about this. I never even considered this. This didn't cross my mind. So apparently, I'm gonna get melee energy back for making grenade damage. So what do I run? I run the vortex grenade. It's big. It lasts a very long time. Covers a wide radius of things, where the void wall would kill probably the quickest out of any grenade still to this day. If people stand in it for like 2 seconds, they're dead. The spike grenade's pretty powerful, but there's a lot of walls in this game. I wouldn't recommend spike grenade anymore, because it may just be me, but when I throw my spike grenade on a flat wall, that stuff be aiming at the ground or the ceiling too many times. Like, it don't stick out and do its job. It's like, all right, man, I'm here, but I'm being lazy today. It's like, bro, did you show up high? Like, what's going on? Like, nah, man, there's a bug on the ceiling. I'm trying to get this. Like, do not do that to me. So I choose the vortex grenade. The drawback with the vortex grenade, no matter what class you run it on, I would say is, when you throw it, it does initial damage for impact, and then it takes a second to start up. So that kind of sucks. So sometimes they can get revives in that span of time, or grab the heavy in that span of time, between the time the impact damage hits and the time it takes the grenade to actually kick off. So, if you can, when you're throwing the grenade, put 1 bullet on them, 2, maybe 2, if it's an option. If not, don't worry about it. Drop the grenade and pray, the other person panics enough that they let go of the square and don't know how to claw. So that's the grenade I run. Now I run Gambler's Dodge. Now what Gambler's Dodge does is it allows you... Oh man, my finger is burning now. It was just a small burn and it's burning so much. Oh my lord. Well, what Gambler's Dodge does is, when you're close enough to an enemy and you dodge, you get your melee back in full. Doesn't matter what hunter class you're running. The subtree doesn't matter. The skill tree doesn't matter. The subclass doesn't matter. It just melee. Your melee recharges. The smoke is your melee. That's your melee ability. So I get my smoke back. So the smoke allows me to go invisible, right? The more I get that, the better off we're going to be. Now, I'm not a fan of this dodge because I like reloading my weapon. But because we get weapon haste, I believe it's what it's called. Where's it at? Oop. Weapon haste. That does everything. Handling, aiming down sights, reload speed, all of that good stuff. Everything but the sensitivity of your gun, right? So I'm gonna show it off real quick. Invisible, reload, boom, 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 boom. Swap weapon, swap weapon. I got a quick draw shotgun somewhere, and that stuff comes out really fast without the swap glitch. And this is not the one. I have quick draw on one of those astrals, and that lasts for 20 seconds too. Heart of the pack, actually, bottom left corner, it's still going. That's 20 seconds. That's 10 seconds longer than you being invisible, and it works for your whole team. So that's, boom, bottom left of the corner, 10 seconds for vanish and smoke, 20 seconds for heart of the pack. By the time heart of the pack ends, I'm usually close to getting my melee back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. Let's see. We saved about 2 to 3 seconds off a 37-second melee cooldown timer. 36, 35, 34. That's the math. 1, 2, 3. That's 34 seconds, right? We get my smoke back. Sorry, that's 3 seconds saved. On a cooldown timer of 37 seconds for my melee to come back, I get it in less than 20. I have saved 17, 18, 19, 20. Really? 17-second melee? That's pretty powerful. Now, that's Granted, that's me staying invisible the whole time, using my shade step at least once, right? And I'm not breaking invisibility. I'm not shooting anyone. I'm not killing anyone. I don't walk around waiting for my invisibility end. But sometimes on big maps where I have to travel, like so let's take an example real quick. I'll come out here, doot 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 doot, and I would say right about here. I don't want anyone to hear it too soon. I don't want them to see me on the radar. Let's say they're all at the stairs and I chose to go outside. I'm not sniping. Let's say I'm not sniping. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna wait for a melee, and I'm gonna just sit here. I'm gonna sit here and wait and hope no one comes out here for a second, maybe. Uh, so what you're waiting on is your second smoke to come back. That way, now you can close the distance. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Crouch at the end. You're still off the radar for that 1 extra seconds. Come out, boom. Shotgun something, right? So how you play is gonna be a big impact on this. So that breaks down how quickly I can get my invisibility smoke back, right? That I your smoke comes back. Now, let me break down why does mine last 10 seconds as yours doesn't. I'm running the Graviton forfeit helmet. This exotic is, I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary for this build, but it makes a big difference. Where you would stay invisible for 7 seconds, I stay invisible for 10. All right, my teammates stay invisible for about 7 to 8 seconds. So this is huge, and I'm going to explain why in just a moment. Increases the duration of any invisibility effects. Your melee recharges faster while you are invisible. That's also why I get my melee back. Now, you can run the dodge, right? You can run Gambler's Dodge and dodge near enemies and immediately get your melee back. But now you're just playing out of skill, right? You're so close to the enemy, you're just, you're trying to outskill them. You're trying to win the fight versus taking advantage of, oh god, you're loud. Taking advantage of the build itself, right? And the radar. You're taking advantage of the radar where, Gemini Jesters would take the radar away. You're making it not obvious. Even though they know that you're doing this, there are going to be a good bit of maps where you're going to be able to manipulate it. And if you're smart enough to do it, your team can make this work. Now, some maps are going to be like Widow's Court. I tried to run this on Widow's Court. You get like 1 or 2 good flanks, and on a smart team, that was it. It didn't happen again. You just had to play straight up. So at that point in time, if you're a good sniper and you're not going to run a shotgun, they won't inspect that invisible snipe, Chief. And we'll get more into that later. Like, that could be huge too, right? So, all right. Now, the Graviton forfeit helmet. Let me look at the screen one more time. This is my build, real quick. We're gonna run through the numbers. Mobility 85. I believe mobility is the -- 1 stat in Destiny 2, followed by intellect. I have sacrificed my intellect, where I've been known to run 100 intellect. I've gotten a little bit more what's the word? More lenient with this build, and I brought it down to a 6 tier. If you can get that to a 7 tier and have high strength of 100 and have high mobility on a warlock, I'd say a 9. Oh, sorry, this is only a hunter. What? Warlock's invisible smoke. I wish. On a hunter, I'm comfortable with 8, but the higher you can get it, the faster you're going to be. Your class ability is going to cool down faster as well. I think it goes down to like an 8-second dodge or a 9-second dodge, which means more smokes faster, right? So, but I definitely wouldn't try to sacrifice your intellect below a 6, because if I got to 7, I'd be saving me another 11 seconds on super. Super is still pretty important in Destiny 2. And the amount of times I could have used the super a lot sooner, kind of bit me in the ass. But at the same time, since I'm in the earlier round, since I'm getting opening picks first, right, 1 to 2, I'm taking a leap past the enemy, past my teammates, because I'm getting the initial kill, right? I'm getting the initial kill, so my super energy's up there. I'm getting kills, I'm getting super energy, and if it goes into a stagnant game after round 2 or 3, I'm gonna get my stuff first, and I'm gonna be able to make a play, and then we just play it out. If you can't go invisible on them, you just play it out. So I would recommend nothing lower than a 6. 7 if you could, because after tier 7 to tier 8, you kind of don't really see a difference in the super ability cooldown. And where people say there's a fall off, right, on your super ability cooldown. My Warlock has a 9 going on 100, I believe. And I ran it at 100 too. I know those numbers on this screen look small. It'll go down from 418 right now to tier 7 to 407 to like 405 and then 403 and then it's like 359. So you're saving just a few seconds each tier. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you get more energy when you kill guys, but I've gotten 5 supers in one game. To this day, I got like 4 or 5 supers on my Warlock. Just this last weekend on Rusted Lands, because we had some of the games were just that dang slow. And, you know, we had a tough time making a move because of the map. And I'll explain that later in a different video. But because that map was wild and it was weird and it played like D1. Like, people played it like D1. And I was just like, huh. So this map did play like D1. Again, another video for a different time. And I'll explain exactly why people, if you had a tough time that weekend, I'm going to tell you why. So I don't know what it is, but even though you don't save a lot of time, the depreciation of it, you know, increases as your tier increases. I get my supers end of round 2, beginning of round 3, and I get it leagues before the enemy because people don't invest into their intellect. I don't know why. Whatever, they don't want to be called scrubs. I don't know. Some people don't do it because they think it's cheesy. But anyway, I recommend nothing lower than a tier 6. Moving on before I ramble. For discipline, you know, put it at any tier you can. Put it as high as you can. Resilience. My resilience is garbage, trash, not there. I believe you don't need resilience if you don't get shot. Recovery. I believe you don't need high recovery if you win your gunfights. Grenade ability. I would put that above those two because they matter so little. Even with light level enabled, they matter to me. They matter so little. So, you know, that's usually what it is. But anyway, we're going back into the strength build. Graviton forfeit. Ken, why do you choose this helmet? Because it allows me to get my melee back faster, as we seen earlier, right? And it gives me 3 more seconds of invisibility. Now, let me break that down. Why is that important? Why is 3 seconds so important? All right, let's say someone's on the radar right over here, right? I tested this with my with one of my friends. Let's say someone's right here, and you're just right here. You're on the radar. 1, 2, 3. Now I can move. Why did I wait 3 seconds? Okay, I'm going to show you again. All right? I'm going to show you again why I waited 3 seconds. All right, so after 3 seconds, I was able to move. I'm going to show you this in a second. 1, 2, 3. All right, boom, right here. All right, at this point. So if you go invisible while you're on someone's radar, it doesn't matter if you what you're doing. If you go invisible while you're on someone's radar, what it showed me in the private matches was I stayed on the radar for an additional 3 seconds. Now, I tested this with this tree with this build. I didn't test the top tree where you dodge and go invisible. I did none of that nonsense. And I've always noticed an invisibility, a weirdness with invisibility ever since D1. And I'm like, why are we on the radar if we're invisible? What's the point? Because it's not explained very well how invisibility works. But I think I've gotten a grasp on it. So if I'm moving, if I go invisible on the radar here, and I move this way, by the time I get here, this is, boom, now I show off the radar. That dude, if he's paying attention to his radar, he's gonna be, huh? That red dot's moving. Doot, 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 doot. He's gonna be here. You're gonna cut that corner, and your shotgun may not be in line of sight, or it may not be in range. He may have the chaperone. He may have heavy, a super, like, who knows what he has. He may have, whatever he has, he may have the advantage. And the biggest advantage he has is knowing where you are. You're running this build, all right? So, if you show up, if you're on the radar and you go invisible, I think for both trees, you're on the radar for a little bit of time. Now, if it's 3 seconds for top tree shade step invisibility, that's practically all the super without the helmet. You pack it in and take it off. Now, go test it in private match because I'm not sure. I haven't tested it myself. I will one of these days. But that's what I used to run. And I would wonder why people would know that I'm on the radar more often than not. So, well, Ken, why don't you sprint? Radar, 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 and you get that for the next 5 seconds. When you sprint while you're invisible, you are on the radar. Constant. If you double jump, you are on the radar. Shade step, you are on the radar. Anything but walking and hopping. That's why if you've seen my stream while I was doing this, I mantled on things. I walked. I hopped. I never double jumped unless I was about to get a kill. Let's say there was a dude right up here looking. He's standing here and he's looking that way. And I'm coming around the map. I'm going to walk over here. And if I think my invisibility is not going to last long, I'm going to just jump, shotgun, melee, right? And I'm going to lead up with a melee every single time. I'm going to assume my shotgun doesn't do the job, whether I waste my smoke or not. If that was the last dude and I cut this corner, his teammate could be spectating him saying, "Hey, there's a guy on your left," and now you're dead. Or if you mantle, that dude may really see you, be like, "Oh man, what's that?" or hear you. So again, it's key how you play it. It's all about the play style. And if you were running from here to here and a dude cut that corner, boom, you would be in a better position to shotgun him. You're absolutely right. But again, you're trying to play off the radar. You're manipulating the radar that people are so clingy to. There's two types of people. There are people that know how to use the radar very, very well, and they do. And there's people that don't know how to use the radar, but claim they need the radar in the game. But when it comes down to the radar, it's usually working against them rather than for them. And, a different topic for a different day. That's why I think radar shouldn't be in trials and PvP competitive and all that. I think it hurts more people than it helps, and I don't think people, gave it enough time to learn how to play without it. And nobody really taught them how to. That I was there, guys. Everyone that played with me had no problem without that radar. I'm telling you, like, we had really smooth games. Like, people excelled, I think, when I helped them out. Not bragging. It's just a fact. It was a fact. So, anyway, now let me get into another question. Someone said, well, I think I'll have my shotgun users run Gemini Jesters. You can have them run Gemini Jesters, so they would have to take the radar, go invisible, and then now they don't have to worry about that 3 seconds. You're also losing that 3 seconds. So right here, right? So let me do that again. All right. Let me do that again. And they could also sprint too. If all the radars are gone, they get the sprint, right? So I don't have my shade step. We're not going to wait. So I shade step, smoke, sprint. Do 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 do. Look at how far you get to go, right? Granted, Gemini Jester's probably ended by then, but two things are gonna happen. Number one, again, you're gonna give away the element of surprise. If you Gemini Jesters, you have to be close enough to the enemy, and now the enemy's on alert. Their radar's gone. They're on alert. All right. They're looking for people. Now they're not looking for invisible people. They're looking for anybody about to flank them or whatever. They're waiting for it. So they're on alert. So keep that in mind. They will be on alert. Now my buddy ran Gemini Jesters, and he ran Top Tree Tether, Gemini Jesters, and he would take people's radar away, and he would sprint. And I asked him, he did it on Anomaly. He said it worked really, really well. We made Anomaly rock with this build and his build. I thought it was hilarious. He ran it on Cauldron. It didn't work so long. Sorry, this video went a lot longer. There's a lot to say. He ran it on Cauldron. He said it didn't work too well. And I said, why do you think that is? And after a few games, he said, I think it's because there's not as many levels. It's literally everything's high level for engagements. There's where Anomaly, you could shade step under the floor of heavy, or you could shade step under overtime or through walls and whatnot. On Cauldron, it was doorways. You everyone run into the room if it's a room battle, right? You run into the middle of the room and it's Roomba time. And you shade step, take the radar, but everyone knows you're there and everyone's looking for you, right? And there's a small, there's like 2 levels in there, but it's not as designed for levels as Anomaly is. So he said it didn't work. So he used a different exotic instead of Geminis. He didn't use Geminis that weekend. So we made this build work without it. Now, can you use Geminis with this build? Absolutely. If you take off the Graviton forfeit, though, you're going to lose out on your smoke's not going to come back as fast. You're going to have to wait that 37 seconds. Or you're going to have to dodge near an enemy to get it back. So if you're always dodging to take the radar and then you're going invisible, you're going to have it, right? My build plans on I have it before I spawn, or hopefully right after I spawn, I get in position, go invisible, and just start walking. You're also not gonna, stay invisible as long. So Gemini Jesters isn't a bad option. You gotta weigh, you gotta weigh how it works. I'm not gonna say you can't run it. It's just not what I would run. This build covers for less risk over the other one. I don't have to, I don't have to shade step next to an enemy. I get my smoke back if I have to wait, long distance, flanks, anything like that, right? I think that about covers it. Let me pause the recording and just think for a second if I need to cover something else, because I don't want to do this again. All right, and the video is unpaused. Hopefully it's caught back up. Let me go through these questions. This is a person specifically had these questions, so these are good. Let me see. Consider running through the basics of the loadout at the start of the video. Did I do that? I think I did that through most of the video and hopefully at the beginning. How to set up your character for it. I did that. How long it will last. I did that. Ways to make it last longer, which is what I covered and what I didn't cover. Stealth tactics, and I covered that. Again, you gotta walk, you gotta hop. Mobility. You get increased mobility. That makes you hop higher, baby. Hop higher. Like, there were places where I could hop that I wouldn't normally be able to hop to, and I want to say Cauldron or Anomaly or even Widow's Court. I ran this on Widow's Court for a while, and it worked until it didn't. Once I got on my Warlock and just sniped people, we went flawless a lot. But the other way, we would get to game like 6, and it would struggle books after there, because there was a lot of times once we came across that smart team, this didn't work. The increased mobility is huge. It allows me to hop higher, so I can mantle things that I normally wouldn't be able to mantle, where I would have to double jump. So that's another important thing. Let me pull that up. So the smoke does a lot. The smoke itself does a lot. So your mobility, that means you get to walk faster, sprint faster, right? And again, if you sprint, you're on the radar. So I think that's all it is. Remember, if you show up on someone's radar, you have to wait those 3 seconds. Top tree tether, you need to cover yourselves, or I'll cover it in a later video. There's a lot that goes into this build and my playstyle. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope this helps out. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'll try to cover it, in the comments. But because of the questions I got, I just needed to make a video, so everything got out there at once. It went a lot longer than I thought. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making the video. I just didn't want to record it again. That's like 25 minutes. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hit the subscribe, leave a like. Again, any questions, leave it in the comments section below. I will catch you all next time. It's time for me to go, I'm like an hour later than I want to be. Time for me to go live with some comp help for the week. You can catch me on Twitch. All that stuff in the description below. And enjoy your day. See you soon.